Hi, this is Mrs. Parr, and on this episode of Math Up to Par, we are going to be talking about measurement, specifically converting weights using the U.S. customary system. So, we need to know some basic conversions. So, this is stuff that you just need to memorize and know. So, if I am talking about 1 pound, you need to know that it is equal to 16 ounces. Okay, so there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. There are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. Okay, not as commonly used in everyday life as 16 ounces in a pound, but still valuable information to know and memorize. So what we're going to do is when we're converting between ounces and pounds and tons, we are going to take the amount that they give us and we are going to multiply or divide by the equivalent unit that we wrote down over here on this side, okay? And if we're going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, we're going to multiply. And to remember that, we are going to make the multiplication symbols over our heads because that's going to show us that it's big, okay? So if it's big, I'm going to multiply, okay? So if I know a bigger unit, I'm going to multiply by that number to get my equivalent measurement for my smaller amount. If I start out with a smaller unit, I am going to divide in order to get the equivalent amount for the bigger unit. So if I am doing something big, I do my arms over my head to show, okay, that's really big, that's really tall. But if I'm doing something smaller, I'm going to hold this kind of down over my belly or over my chest, and I'm going to make that middle line like for my division symbol, and I'm going to make my dot above it and below it like that. So do that right above your belly or right above your chest right now, okay? So that is how I remember whether I'm multiplying or dividing when I'm converting units. So if I am asked the question, how many pounds are equivalent to 48 ounces? I know that I have 48 ounces. I don't know how many pounds. Ounces are smaller than pounds, so I'm going from small to big. When I'm going from small to big, I divide, which is over here. So I'm doing my division symbol, okay? So I take my number that's over here, which is 48, and ounces to pounds, I know there's 16 ounces in a pound, so I'm going to divide 48 divided by 16, and I get 3. So that means that there are 3 pounds that are equivalent to 48 ounces. All right, so now if I'm finding out how many pounds are equivalent to 2 tons, I know there's 2 tons, I don't know how many pounds. Well, tons are bigger than pounds, and yes, LB is the abbreviation for pounds. It's so weird because it doesn't have the letter P in it, but yes, LB does stand for pounds. So the capital T is for tons. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there. So there are 2 tons, 2 pounds. I know tons are bigger than pounds, so I'm going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. So from big to small, I multiply, okay? So I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to multiply it by 2,000. You should be able to do this because you just take the number 2 right here and you multiply it by the 2 right here and you get 4. And then you add, there's 3 zeros here. So you would add 3 zeros to the end of your answer because 2 times 2,000 is 4,000. And it's just like if you were to, anytime you multiply something by 2, it's the same thing as adding it twice. And 2,000 plus 2,000 is 4,000. So number 3 says, how many ounces are in 7 pounds? So I know pounds, I don't know the ounces. Pounds are bigger than ounces. So I'm going from big to small. So that means I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 16. And that will give me 112, which means that 7 pounds is equal to 112 ounces, okay? So take time, memorize that there are 16 ounces in a pound and 2,000 pounds in a ton. If you know that information, and you can use your hand symbols or whatever other method you choose to remember that if you're going from a big unit to a small unit, you multiply, and from a small unit to a big unit you divide, then you can solve all of these conversion problems, okay? So thank you so much for watching and happy practicing.